In the Corey Anton video that I had responded to, I left a comment. Corey had asked for a refutation of an argument that looked to me to be a uh, a false argument, less than a weak argument. That he seemed to be saying that unknown sources of income, that since it's a mystery where some people get their money and some people have a lot of money, that's the stuff of social inequality. And I am not sure if that's what he meant to say or if that is even at all true. He also said something at the very beginning of the talk about how causality is, he kind of hinted at it being a paradigm that is useful maybe, but to take the extreme physical materialist point of view is something that he really doesn't want to entirely buy into. And so using that, I would suggest that the emergence of social inequality and the lack of transparency arise together. I don't even know if they are mutually interdependent on various scales. Certainly in the world as a whole, if everything depends on everything else and it takes the universe to support a man, so to speak, then, well, yeah, sure. If it was entirely transparent to an observer how some rich mucky muck spent the day, I don't know if that would necessarily do anything. It'd piss a whole lot of people off if it was seen that the percentage of the percentage, the 0.001% that are born into great monetary wealth, they don't do anything. I don't, aside from tearing down the castles, I don't think that's going to do a whole lot. If it was seen how a hedge fund manager or Wall Street banker just pushes a couple of buttons and then goes off to fly around in the jet, I don't think that's going to really do much. I imagine the entire system would have to be rearranged, and I don't really see that happening. What I would rather do is move out of that state, just like I don't want to be stuck in a political state or a nation state of mind. I don't want to be stuck in a monetary state of mind. Sometimes my thoughts turn toward the identification process, how inequality can be seen on many different levels, and yeah, equations can be made to appear equal or unequal and rationalize. Certainly disparities exist. How to get rid of them or to minimize them, I'm not sure if that's ever going to happen either. There might always be, I don't like to think there will be, but there might always be dirt poor people and filthy rich people in a spectrum, and the more people there are, the larger this spectrum might be. That there will be ever greater, richer people with more and more and more power, and there will be dirt poor people. Hopefully there will be less and less and less of them as the standards of living, global standards of living, rise with the tide. It raises all the boats. Well, maybe you didn't know that. Some people say that my dad would say that the standard of living in the United States, he grew up during the Depression, and other people would say too that the poorest people in the States, the United States of America, are some people in other portions of the world would love to be poor in the United States. And who is to say that because a person is dirt poor, that so-called individual is not happy? Little kids can be happy doing anything. It's when something else is known to be out there that an unhappiness might be fostered. So let's go back a million years, maybe not a million, maybe 500,000 years. Hunters and gatherers, they're all dirt poor. And who's to say that they were unhappy? That being dirt poor, that there's something wrong with that? That everybody should drive a fancy car, or or everybody should live in a house and everybody should have running water. Well, I don't want to trade my house and my running water and my electricity for a hunting and gathering existence, but I'm not quite sure that if I knew what some filthy rich person was doing all day, if that would help balance the scales of social inequality. I think there's something wrong with the logic there. I'm not convinced that communism or socialism or capitalism is going to solve anything or everything. The systems evolve of themselves in many ways. As people, like little ants, will all push this way and we'll all push that way, and eventually the ball will roll in a certain direction. I don't know if trying to change the world is really going to change the world, or if that will destroy the world in a spiritual way of seeing the world. An old guy named Old Guy Lao Tzu once was said to have said something along the lines of how the world is sacred. It's a spiritual thing, and to try to change it is to lose it. And some translators add force in there, to try to change it by force. But even without force, trying to change something, there's something illogical about that when seen from another point of view. And so politics can be a quagmire of thought. Consciousness, when mind sinks into the political realm, I don't like to stay there very long. But I did like to try to apply a little bit of logic to what Corey offered as a bit of a challenge. And I don't know if I did that, but it was fun trying. Thanks, Corey.